Hi there boys and girls, Brucey here, and today I am doing the follow-up on the next video in my Inner Circles recording video. Today I am going to be discussing the writing process. Now, I seem to over the years have been asked this question so many times by students. There are a big group of questions that as a lecturer and as a teacher you seem to get asked all the time, and one of them is, how do you write songs? Where do the ideas come? What happens? What is your process? And the more you think of it, it is a really interesting question. And sometimes you think about it, and maybe you think about it at a kind of existential level, and it gets a little bit like, whoa, deeply philosophical, because ultimately it is kind of magic, isn't it? What you are doing is you're creating something out of nothing. Just like a magician might pull a rabbit out of a hat. I guess authors, painters, guitar players, we are picking something up and magically somewhere we are creating something which did not exist before. Which may or may not work. I'll leave that open to your interpretation. But if we think of it like that it's magic, which is fine, but we all know that magicians are doing things behind the scenes to manipulate that. So I'm going to look at some of the concepts and ideas that I use to write songs. First thing to say is I don't have a fixed method. I kind of vary this between usually 3 different things. And the thing that usually inspires me the most is rhythm. I got into music as a small child because I love rhythm. Rhythm is what excites me. Rhythm is probably the most important thing to me in most songs. So if I hear a good groove, if I hear a good rhythm, I latch onto it. And that's where, your body starts moving. You're having these kind of haptic sensations. You're having these uncontrollable urges to move. And that's rhythm. So a lot of times for me, very similar, I guess, to people like Peter Gabriel who'll talk about this, you get inspired by a rhythm. So that could be me just hitting something, hearing something, usually maybe putting on a drum machine. If I'm really stuck, I'll put on a drum machine and come up with a loop or something like that. But more and more, sorry, I'm trying to find a pick. More and more, it could be on a guitar where I'm just kind of, so I'm getting that groove going, and that's where I'm starting to hear things in my head. That will be my main writing method. I tend to come up with rhythms. The second thing is from noodling, and a lot of that will be where I might get some harmonic content going, so a chord sequence or a riff. So this is a new track off my new album. As I said, I'm going to talk you through the writing process. So what I was doing one day, I was just playing that chord, 9 chord. For no particular reason, I just picked up the guitar. And then the magic element came. Started putting the C in because I was looking for a new chord. And I really liked it. Went down to the B. Didn't like it so much. I went up to the G there. So this became the nugget of the idea of which the whole song was rooted on. So that was a harmonic idea. I then played around that for some time and built the rest of the song on that, where I came up with a melody idea, which is... became the melody. So that is rhythm, that is harmony, and occasionally, very rarely for me, will I have a kind of melody idea. I might have something like that. I've just completely made that up off the top of my head. Melody ideas for me tend to come when I'm in the shower, the rest possible time. So if I've got a melody idea, that takes a little bit more work because you've then got to try and figure out the chords which go behind it. To me, I would usually go to my orchestral training and looking at the SATB style of writing, 4 chords, looking at the melody and figuring out what chords go underneath it that way. But that is it, you know, that is the magic. And where does that all come from? Well, in a sense, it probably comes from accumulated knowledge over all the years of music listening that I have done. You know, you can hear things in your head, you can kind of get a sense of where you want things to go. But I think inherently you want to embrace the fact that it is magic and really go along with it. So if you are getting something which is really speaking to you, it doesn't matter what it is, you've then got to progress that. Don't be bogged down by thinking what the internet is telling you to think about. You need to do all these different things. Just get the song down. Get the idea down. Go with the idea. If the idea excites you, keep going with it. One of the other things I tend to do in the writing process is trying to avoid computers as well. If I've got a little bit, trying not to just put that down and start writing 4-bar loops or whatever, and then only ever having a 4-bar loop. More and more I'm trying to break away from that. I got into that a couple of years ago and really it hindered what I was trying to do. So what I try and do now is sit down and thrush out the whole song, or at least the whole structure, before I take it to the computer. Now that doesn't mean I don't use tools to keep ideas and things down. I certainly do that, and I'm going to do the next video on the tools that I use for songwriting. But I do tend to try to be able to play the song through, get a basic idea of the structure, get a basic idea of where I want things to go. And this is sometimes where setting yourself tasks and pressure can really, deadlines can really help you get things done. I found that the most successful songwriting I've ever done, this is sometimes with groups of students and groups of people that I work with on songwriting courses, is when we set the end of the day to write a song. That really focuses the mind on and lets you sometimes forget about some of the more complexities and some of the things that are just fluff and polish, and gets you to focus in on getting something complete, even if it is in a sketch form. Get the novel, for example, get it complete, get it written down, and then come back and edit, and then come back and flourish and polish. But get that structure, get that skeleton down. The way you do it is the way you do it. Really embrace the way that you do it. I hope you found that useful. If you've got any more questions, please do ask them below. The next video I'm going to do on this, I'm going to talk about some of the equipment I use to capture ideas. I've been Brucey. If you like my channel, please do hit subscribe, and I will catch you later. Take care, my friends.